Hi, I'm Michael Wan. Thanks for watching us tonight. Liberal media going crazy. That is the topic of today's op-ed. It is very, very clear what the liberal media wants. They want nothing other than impeachment of President Trump. Look at all this Russia-Trump collusion nonsense. This is one of the most craziest and insane story out there that I've ever seen. And this news came out from none other than the Washington Post. They are the leader of the anti-Trump media outlet. Well, they just reported fake news, and I can't let them get away with it. The Washington Post is not that prestigious paper it used to be back in the day. Now, Washington Post is nothing more than just a propaganda machine that only lives and breathes for liberal causes. The Washington Post reported this. President Trump revealed classified materials, including highly classified intelligence sources to the Russians during his meeting at the White House last week. This is fake news right here. National Security Advisor General H.R. McMaster and Secretary of State Rex Tillerson, both of whom were in the meeting, unequivocally denied that Trump revealed any kind of classified information. The president is the commander-in-chief. He has the constitutional right to share whatever information he wants or deems to share. Is Washington Post just crazy or insane? In the case of the meetings with top Russian officials, it's been reported that President Trump was discussing real threats from ISIS. Trump saw a common enemy in ISIS, and he wants Russia to help out the fight with ISIS. As you may know, Russia also wants to get rid of ISIS. Now, Trump was clear about this even back to his campaign days. He said there is no good reason for America and Russia to be in a hostile relationship, and there is much to gain if both countries collaborate in defeating ISIS. Let me repeat this. The president has the constitutional authority to share what information he deems necessary with nations and their leaders. So essentially, it means that the Washington Post has spread yet another fake news. And I'll do a topic on fake news on our next episode. But hey, hating on Trump, that's fine. But let's at least get our facts straight. Okay, Washington Post? Now, this is what Jay Sekulow said recently on his show. Jay Sekulow is an American attorney and chief counsel for the American Center for Law and Justice. And ACLJ had many wins in the U.S. Supreme Court. In short, he is one of the most brilliant legal minds out there. He said this, and I quote, "The truth is what's really putting our nation at risk. The truth, what's really putting our nation at risk is a flagrant leaking from within the federal bureaucracy. Those who oppose President Trump who are breaking the law when they leak classified materials." And Sekulow also said this, and I quote, "The president is a commander-in-chief. He is our president. He has a constitutional authority to share what information he deems necessary with nations and their leaders. President Trump providing classified material to the Russians puts the United States at risk? This is fake news, folks. It's just liberal garbage. I bet $1 million that the Post would not have put out this story if it was Obama who shared information. America is at risk, not because of President Trump. He is doing just fine, but because of the leakers, which is clearly illegal. They are Trump haters who would stop at nothing to bring him down and impeach him. Even if it's breaking the law and leaking classified materials. Now, Trump does have a huge problem that he's facing right now. The Russia collusion? No. So far, nothing has materialized for the past 9 months, which is why the Democrats are backing down on demanding impeachment for now. But because of the leaks in his administration. Attorney General Jeff Sessions needs to impanel a grand jury to investigate all these leaks and charge the responsible leakers. Yes, it is what President Trump has said all along. This is the swamp. The leakers are the swamp, and the press that are putting all these classified information out there are also the swamp. The swamp loves and dedicate themselves to former President Barack Obama and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Look, I backed Barack Obama 4 years ago and 8 years ago, but this is nonsense. The leaking has to stop. The liberal media can't stand Trump is eliminating Obama's legacy. Now, Obama did one really despicable thing. He took action for the FBI, CIA, and all of these intelligence to share classified information with each other. That is why all these leaks are happening all of a sudden. Obama didn't let them share information during his 8 years of presidency, but he decided one day, nah, it's better to share, and decided to do so 12 days before he left office. Now think about it. What if Trump did this and Obama became the next president? There would have been a major outcry. I wanted to leave today's show with some readers' comments that were very pithy and insightful. I think Democrats really need to read this if they want to win back the House and the Senate next year. I took these comments out from the liberal papers like the Washington Post and Time magazine, and also liberal website Yahoo. This is David from Yahoo. If you want to replace Trump in 2020, then you must become the reasonable opposition to him. Highly dramatic, emotional fake news that are usually far from common sense and logic is not going to get you enough votes from stupid people to win the presidency, and even worse is your violent behavior that turns many peaceful people into Trump supporters just to oppose your violence. As an American, I wish Trump would have a good opposition and not a bunch of thugs and idiots. This is what Wayne wrote in the Washington Post. He's one of the readers of Washington Post. I switched from Democrat to Republican when I watched how biased the media was against Trump. They have crossed the line for me. The harder they hammer him, the more I am solidly in his camp. Other than Fox, screw the media. Trump has done one thing that no other candidate has ever done. He took power away from the Republicans and Democrats and is not being swayed by special interests or lobbyists or donors. Just what this world needed. This is Mean Gene, who wrote in the New York Times. I voted for neither Clinton or Trump. If the election was held again today, I'd vote for Trump. The hatred coming from the left is very telling and exposes them as fascists. Anybody they hate that much has to be okay.